in Three Lakes.
Nice move, John. Good. I don't care how you play yourself.
It seems as natural as when he was coaching Mark Aguirre, Terry Cummings. Maybe that's because Ray Meyer is the kind of coach who should always coach everywhere, all the time, because his knowledge of the game is such that even the casual interview is a dissertation on that game, which has brought Coach so much joy.
I know Al McGuire came up one time. He said, "You still take a court?" I said, "Yep." He couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe that I'm up there every day and playing around with the boys. But I enjoy it, and it's part of my life. Yeah. And I go from school to camp, camp to school. That's my life.
And it's a life that Ray Meyer has known for quite some time. You know, one time this camp was one of the premier camps. It's all that Coach Meyer put into it. He built the cabins with the wood that he had to clear off the land, which is the home to all the courts now. A labor of love, Coach says, and maybe it's the labor part that sometimes we forget about when it comes to building basketball dreams.
We stress that you can be just as good as you want to be, that you have to decide, you got to set your goal. It's good to dream, set a goal up there, but you got to do something to reach it. You can't just wish for it.
Ray Meyer is an example of someone who has lived his dream, and he is giving that back to the kids in this camp. The duration of the camp, 6 weeks, with a whole new complement of boys. Each of those weeks, names like Pettit, Issel, Aguirre, have been on these same courts, have learned the same skills, have dreamed the same dreams, and taken a little wisdom home from Coach. Although it seems much of this current generation finds a more popular moment at camp than learning from a great one.
We have one-on-one, free throw, horse, 3-on-3, and they'll get maybe 10, 15 kids watching them. You watch the dunk contest, every boy in camp is there. The dunk contest, everybody watches. That comes Saturday morning, and that's the sight. And they cheer and they boo the scorers. The coaches give them they go on a 10-point system, and whatever they give them, they boo if they thought the dunk was
Now, Quartermines, and we've got a very special program coming up for you tonight, and we're going to get things started with a very special interview I was able to conduct this past week up in Three Lakes. You know, Ray Meyer is certainly a basketball legend. I grew up in the Milwaukee area, and every year was Marquette against DePaul and big basketball games. Al McGuire against Ray Meyer, Hank Raymond's against Ray Meyer, and then Rick Majerus against Ray Meyer. But I always heard about what a special guy Ray Meyer was, and I had a chance to find that out firsthand during this past week as Ray Meyer every summer up here conducts his very own basketball camp. It's just a great story. I mean, here's a guy who some 48 years ago or so took and bought some property, built a basketball camp, even used the logs that he cleared from the land to build the cabins, and, you know, here all these years later, still doing what he does best. Coach Ray Meyer coaching basketball. We head up to Three Lakes. I think you're going to enjoy this feature.
Oh, we got him, but you weren't ready to pass. Now it's your fault. He did a good job of freeing himself, and you weren't ready. This guy, go.
Our world doesn't produce people like a Ray Meyer anymore. You wonder if it ever will. Arrogance isn't even close to a possibility for one of the greatest gentlemen the game has ever seen. And through it all, Ray Meyer's life has been about one thing, basketball. Not so much being consumed by it. On the contrary, Coach Meyer shares the game to anyone fortunate enough to get a listen. And so tonight on Sports Weekly, the legendary coach of DePaul basketball shares with us his thoughts on the game from a place that you get the feeling is like no other to him. Ray Meyer's basketball camp, nestled in the woods of Three Lakes, and it's his hidden jewel as well. It's given him perfect seclusion by the beautiful bay on the north side of Little Fork Lake, with a south side view, the perfect complement to a session of basketball storytelling.
Well, it's been so much a part of my life. I mean, you've been up on the field. That was all the forest. I cut that by hand. Wow. So I put in the wells. I didn't know anything about anything up here. And I had a deposit on the land I never saw. And then when I got up here and I saw all four, I said, what am I going to do? So we started cutting the trees and we sent it into the mill, and I guess they kept 25%, send it back. Most of those cottages on the hill have been built from the lumber off the field. So it's really been a homemade thing for over the years. It's been rugged. I look forward to it. There's no money in it for me. It's a labor of love. I think that years ago we did make money on it. Now there's so many specialized camps where boys want to go to a camp where they're going to be seen by the college coaches. We basically were all high school before. And I could tell you the good players. We had good players from all over the country. And then now it's mostly grammar school players that we're getting.
I'll plant my left foot here. You fake that way. And come, I step up, you go that way, and I turn to the ball.
It's amazing. You will go up on the field and you watch, well, we have about 130 boys here. Maybe 60 of them have both shorts, or caps. And everybody's Michael Jordan. They're all doing is dunks in there. We have a basket upstairs you can lower to 6 feet so all the little boys can dunk and they're all happy. I think if we had one improvement in the last 10 years at camp, it's been the dunking basket. I don't know, but the interest in basketball has grown tremendously. Well, the game is a much better game than when we played. It's a faster game. The players are so much bigger, stronger, more versatile. They can do so many things that we never could do. You look at all these things. I sat under the basket one time and I watched Michael Jordan. I said, I saw all these players over the years do all those moves, but they never did them like he can do. There's a difference.
If he passes the ball to him, you must, whether you play zone or man-to-man, you open to the ball and see your man and the ball. Now you see both of them. You can't be like this, because then he'll go straight to the basket. You open to the ball. Now you see both of them. All right, come this way and do it.
They don't know where I am.
Really?
Even this morning, Al, when you were up there taking pictures or something, I'm walking off the court afterward. He says, hey, Coach, did you ever play basketball? Yeah, I did. This is the thing. No, you talk about the old-timers. They don't know who they are. Yeah. The only people they know are the people playing in the present day because it's made such an impression on theirs. And they're all living there. Whoever heard of the old-timers? Yeah. I'll tell you, we used to have movies of our old players taken back in 45, 46. If you showed them to the players today, they look like our day in comedy.
I know.
They were great in their day, but their day is past. My day is past, too.
Right.
You're not paying any attention at all. I told you, you just come up, put your left foot here, step up this way, he goes here, and you turn this way. Look what happened. Come here.
Basketball is has progressed far beyond my imagination. I never thought I'd go to a day and like go in the Superdome and see 60,000 people and to walk. I walked, maybe when I got my tickets to go to the game, I didn't walk 20 yards when somebody offered me $3,000 a ticket for the game. And I'm thinking, boy, it would look awfully good on TV. But I didn't dare. $6,000 for 2 tickets to a game. I never saw the day. When we used to go in the Chicago Stadium, when I first started at DePaul, you could get a ticket for $2. Now you couldn't even get on the outside to listen to the game on the outside the building for $2.
Go. Nice move, son. Good. I don't care how you play yourself. Go.
One of the newspapermen asked me how many boys went through camp. And it's amazing. I can go all over the country. I go with the basketball team at DePaul. Last year I was in Seattle, and some guy with a beard came up to me down here. Said, remember me, Coach? I was at your camp in 1950. I says, yeah, but then you had a clean face. How do I expect you? And I don't know. I meet them even up here. We had people in the last week say they were here in 1959. They bring their family coming by, and they stop here.
When you pass me the ball, I catch it. I'm ready to pass it. He was free, and you weren't ready to pass the ball this time. Go.
But I enjoy working with the youngsters. in particular after I retired.
Yeah.
It's just an outlet for me, Al, and I love to be up there. I know Al McGuire came up one time. He said, "You still take a court?" I said, "Yep." He couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe that I'm up there every day and playing around with the boys. But I enjoy it, and it's part of my life.
Yeah.
And I go from school to camp, camp to school. That's my life.
Well, I can tell you one thing. When you talk basketball with Coach Meyer, it's not like doing an interview. It's just like sitting down and talking basketball. That's what we did. I think our interview lasted about 45 minutes, and if we hadn't run out of tape and batteries, we probably could have kept on going for another couple of hours. And you know, that's one of the special things, I think, for me, getting a chance to do a show like this and being in the broadcast business is you just get to talk a lot of times with some very special, unique people, and Coach Meyer is definitely one of those. My thanks to him for taking time out during the camp to talk with us, and I know that he gets to enjoy it now the rest of his summer, so hopefully he can do some fishing in that great lake of theirs, and we appreciate, again, him taking the time. We're going to come back with more Sports Weekly when we do another very special segment for you, so I hope you'll come back with us right after this.